we know that you loyal viewers and listeners of Facecheck have heard this time and time again, but the whole argument about NA infrastructure and people starting to crap all over it are coming on in. And so I had a couple of tweets that I thought was very, very interesting to follow along with here, and I think will set the table for us. Starting off with one of our players in North America. It's Mr. Soaz. You can have 10 teams with as much money, resources, and support. Doesn't mean they will do better than other regions. To me, it's about the way you approach competing, and I believe NA is wrong about that. So Soaz weighing in on there, of course, the backup to Alarim, Immortal's new core player. E-United, so in case you didn't know who Clerky was, he's been an OGGM. He was the general manager, owner of Enemy Esports, which then turned into E-United because he sold Enemy, created E-United, almost qualified back in. E-United's been successful in a bunch of other things, and also is like the head of esports for Maryville University, and Maryville's been a top of the collegiate scene in North America and has pumped out a ton of talent. So if you think of past, I would say the Contracts, Darduck guys that around that sphere, a lot of people have passed through Maryville and worked with Dan. NA spends the second most out of any region on players and is having the worst result at Worlds. The hyperinflation of the scene makes investors not want to invest into meaningful development infrastructure. Fundamental change needs to happen if we want meaningful improvement. Joe Marsh, the T1 general manager and owner, I believe. What is he? Let's double check. He's
the CEO.
CEO. Sorry, JK. CEO of T1. What's happening with LCS teams is why LCK teams work together with the league to push for a stronger academy league in 2021 for our region. You need to invest in the up-and-coming talent, not just throw around stacks of cash for starting five and have no prospects in the pipeline. And then the last one coming from Alarim himself.
I feel like this is just like so weird. Like it's such a weird. It's like, yeah, I mean, that'd be great if we had like the actual like player base. Like obviously, it's way easier for Korea to buff the academy league or like invest more in the academy league when they have so many fucking good players. They can actually like.
Hey, what is Alorum talking about here? Why would any young player want to go pro in NA when they could stream? It's much easier, less stressful, and they could already there are already extremely limited spots for people and pro play in the region. I mean, I'm seeing this and I'm immediately thinking, so they can do what you and Solo do.
Okay.
I mean, I will say Alarim has been grinding it out since 2015, and I've seen so many players in those shitty amateur leagues that I was setting up just quit, disappear. I have no idea where the fuck they are anymore. Alarim at least stuck it out so that he can.
Well, I mean, it's
say
just
something.
like when I see this, it's just like, yeah. I mean, if you're just a competitor, then you just care more about that. Like what? Like this was still an option. Like when I was like in season 2, season 3. Like some people just actually want to compete and like like have that as their life. It's
I would say
that, like everyone would have this mindset.
Oh, yeah. I saw Lena's tweet about how also salary inflation is there because players could make more streaming and so they have to be paid more and like other stuff, right? That's like I don't think that's always the case, especially not for players who really want to win, because all too often I've heard about EU players, LCK players, LPL players readily and actively offering to take pay cuts in order to like play with other players or to allow the org to pursue to try to get another player.
I feel like when you're like 21, 22, like you can make that decision and like do fine. Like I don't really think that you're leaving that much on the table. Like it's not like every one of these players has the option to just stream and be huge. It's not like anyone who gets high rated on the ladder just becomes like a fucking top tier streamer and is making like 500K. Like I just don't even think that this is like that accurate. Yeah, there's some people that can stream, but like the people that are making a fuck ton of money streaming are not the same type of people that are actually like at the top of the fucking ladder. It's not like TF Blade or like Tyler One or Mo or like any of the people that average a ton of fucking viewers are the ones that are being taken away from the scene.
Have the possibility to go competitive.
Yeah,
correct.
It's a completely different like fucking market. I feel like this is just like some random excuses that people just put together.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
I will say I feel like it
makes sense. They could do it. Yes.
They could do it. Double Lift and Björk could do it. But
okay, cool. That's like 2 players out of the region. A lot of the players that are good can't make more streaming.
They can't. No, I mean look at one of the best players in NA, right? Someday.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets no
If he
viewers.
streams, he gets no viewers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 500. I will say though that I think since your time playing Dom, it has been romanticized and publicized way better, right? You've got Twitch rivals, you've got people helping each other out. I just think that it is more accessible to players, but that doesn't mean it is going to be more successful for players. I agree with you on the fact that, like, hey, just because you're a great pro doesn't mean you're going to be a big streamer, and just because you're a big streamer doesn't mean that you'd be a great pro. But I think the fact that we've kind of idolized them and put them on the pedestal way more than, you know, anyone else. You'll see like Faker on Coke cans. Over here, you'd probably see Tyler 1 on Coke cans before you see anybody else. That's what I think. Like, and I think that is a North American infrastructure issue.
I think that's just a weird excuse. I don't feel like we have that much talent that is going to streaming instead of becoming pros. Like, who are the people that are going to streaming instead of becoming pros that they're talking about? Where it's like, oh, these are like the people that need to be developed, that should be in the systems and stuff like that. I don't think it's that. I really don't think it's that. We have too many people just going towards streaming. Where are they? Like, Night Blue's going pro or what? I don't understand.
I wouldn't say Night Blue. No. Not like, Night Blue, right?
But who?
So
who
for
are
me,
these people that are talking about? Like,
so
what is this?
Definitely, there was an article recently, and it just got retweeted out from Emily Rand that was the NA's talent issue, right? It was the scouting ground stuff. It's guys that have been to scouting ground 2-3 times. They've topped the ladder multiple times. Like, what do they got to do to get a shot? Like, what do you got to do to beat out Fallen Bandit and Tuesday? Like, who you got to beat out?
That's way more part of the reason. I think that the people that are making the teams are not actually looking for the people that want to play. I don't think there's not enough people that want to play. Like, look at the amateur leagues, dude. There's so many people that are amateur players that want to be academy, and there's so many amateur players that are better than people in academy, and they are just simply not getting the spot. Like, you look at the teams that are actually at the top of academy, 4 out of 5 of them could be just fucking retired pros that for some reason, like, sure, a retired pro like Deftly or Matt Degon, you're just shut the fuck, please. Just let me go on this. All right, Degon or Matt, they've been pro for how long? Where they're a known quantity. Just because they can beat right now some fresh 17-year-old kid does not mean that they are actually just the future of NA and that they deserve the spot more. Academy is a league where you're supposed to get better and then eventually get to the point where you go pro. If you've went pro and you've shown what you can do, you've spent 2-3 years there. That's not an academy player anymore. That's just a wash, bro. And that's not what we need in academy.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Degon. I had to do it to you.
Yeah. You did say Degon and Matt, and I was like, damn, dude, why you shitting on my
Definitely in Matt.
Why are you shitting on my former career, man?
But I mean that whole team, right?
Right.
Definitely.
The EG team.
And Brandini, like.
Yeah,
man,
in the mid lane it was Firefire, and Firefire was the only kid that had the opportunity, had the shot, I think, to continue to really grow. But those guys are young. They're young. They're 20, 21, 22, even though we've known them
more about
for 4
how
or 5
long
years.
you've been playing.
I think
it's more about how long you've been playing than like your age, in my opinion.
No, right. It's very strange to me though that Korea, China, and Europe have so many 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are like on the come up, but NA doesn't.
I mean, but
feels like NA.
Like they actually exist. Yes, these players actually exist.
I mean, no. I know they exist. I just mean they don't have any like. They're non-existent. Like almost.
What do you mean?
You have to like go to. I mean, you have to go to find them. Whereas like in Europe and stuff, they're on the ladder. They have socials. They like tweet at people and like Korea too.
I think that the Academy Worlds meme has gotten too much of the GMs. The GMs actually think that having the best Academy team is the goal rather than developing players that could eventually like be an LCS and make their main team stronger. That's way more valuable. Like, sure, you could take a player like Darshan and put him versus a player like Tenacity, and maybe right now Darshan can play lane better than Tenacity.
Yeah,
I would put Tenacity on my Academy team 100 times out of 100 over Darshan.
Yeah.
It's just like what it is.